You took the time and effort to send in some questions, so I'm going to answer some of them. What we've done is tried to choose some of the questions that represent an intersection of questions that have been asked. So the first question, and this is kind of a simple one to answer, is what should the order of modules be? I'm often prone to answering questions with, it depends. But if you take a look at the Ozone manual, the mastering guide, or if you take a look at some of the presets, I think you'll start to notice that there are some similarities going from preset to preset. If there's anything such as a rule, you will notice that there's always a limiter at the end, that the limiter itself is probably, the brick wall limiter, is probably the very last thing in the signal chain. If there's other limiting going on somewhere else before that, it might have different purposes, adding color or so on, but the limiter usually sits at the very end as a protection against distortion. The other thing that I might call a standard setup or a default is that the first thing is probably an equalizer. It doesn't always get used, but it's there to help correct tonal balance issues or problems before you do any dynamics processing. And so you'll usually see an EQ, some kind of dynamics processing, and then maybe another EQ afterwards for overall enhancement and broad changes. So that's kind of a starting point.